Aliens called it scrap. A human reprogrammed the ship and did the impossible. Its metal hull, once shining, was now pitted and scorched from centuries of neglect. The Dominion, the galaxy's most advanced civilization, had called it scrap, abandoned after a mysterious failure. But to Mercer, it was an opportunity. "This is it," Mercer whispered to himself, voice calm, yet tinged with excitement. "The impossible waits inside." The salvage team's transport shuttle shuddered as it approached the wreck. The others, experienced, cautious, and trained to fear alien tech, kept their distance, eyes wide at the sheer scale. Some muttered prayers, others complained about the risk, but Mercer had a single thought. Humans are underestimated, and he intended to prove them wrong. "Boarding in 5 minutes," the shuttle's AI announced in a flat monotone. Mercer secured his gear, a helmet, plasma cutter, hacking tools, and a personal energy rifle, more for comfort than actual combat. The shuttle docked with a loud clang, the sound reverberating through the hollow corridors of the alien vessel. Mercer stepped out first, boots echoing on the ancient floor. The air inside was stale, and the ship's lights flickered weakly. Panels hung at odd angles, wires like veins exposed to the vacuum of space. The alien markings on walls glowed faintly, a language Mercer didn't understand, yet he felt the strange rhythm of intelligence behind them. "Looks abandoned," muttered Sergeant Vega, following him cautiously. "Why are we even here?" Mercer didn't answer immediately. He crouched near a console, brushing away layers of dust and grime. His fingers flew over the controls, probing, testing, trying to communicate. The Dominion AI remnant stirred faintly, glimpses of logic circuits awakening after centuries of silence. "It's alive," Mercer said softly, a grin tugging at his lips. "Just asleep and waiting for the right mind." Vega raised an eyebrow. "Right mind? You mean yours?" Mercer smirked. "Exactly." Hours passed as Mercer explored the ship, learning its corridors, mapping its power cores, and analyzing alien systems. Most of the salvage team grew restless, tapping fingers on their helmets, checking monitors, whispering about curses and ghosts. Mercer, however, felt a growing thrill. Every fragmented log, every flickering display, every partially functional AI routine was a puzzle, and he loved puzzles. At the core of the ship, Mercer found the central AI hub. The console was cracked, wires torn, and its interface alien beyond comprehension. Yet beneath the damage, he detected patterns, a faint pulse of logic, almost like a heartbeat. He connected his portable hacking device and started translating. Slowly, painfully, he pieced together the alien language, its code, its logic. Bits of information emerged: protocols for energy distribution, shield manipulation, weapon systems. And then he found something extraordinary, a fragment of an AI program that had been intended to evolve the ship autonomously, a system the Dominion had abandoned because it was too unpredictable. Mercer's mind raced. Humans rarely had this kind of technology, yet here it was, waiting for someone clever enough to understand it. "Vega," Mercer called. "You wanted easy salvage. This isn't easy, it's impossible. But it's ours if we take it." Vega stared at him, unsure whether to be terrified or impressed. "Impossible how?" "I'm about to make this scrap do something no Dominion ship has ever done," Mercer said, fingers flying over the alien console. Sparks flew, wires arced, and for a moment the ship shuddered. A low hum started, like the voice of the ship itself awakening. The rest of the team froze. Lights along the corridors flared, systems booted in sequences that had not functioned for centuries. Mercer laughed quietly, a sharp, excited sound. "You feel that?" he asked. "That's history bending to human will." Then came the first test. Mercer activated the shield system. Alien lights flickered, panels glowed with energy, and for a heartbeat, the ship shimmered with power that no human vessel had ever seen. Vega stepped back. "It's beautiful," she whispered. Mercer's grin widened. "And deadly if anyone tries to stop us." But the excitement was tempered with caution. The Dominion wouldn't ignore the awakening of one of their ancient ships. Mercer knew that. And if the Dominion came, they would come with all the power they could muster. Humans would not have the numbers to fight them head-on. Only speed, cunning, and adaptability would save them. He moved on to the weapons systems next. The ship's armaments were unfamiliar. Energy cannons, pulse disruptors, self-guiding drones, and something labeled only as variable core. Mercer carefully interfaced, rerouting power through his portable AI translator. The alien systems responded to his commands as if recognizing intelligence and trust. For the first time, Mercer felt the thrill that only humans knew in abundance: creativity under pressure, making impossible things work. A human brain, flexible and daring, had turned alien scrap into a living weapon. Hours passed. He tested propulsion, shields, and weapons. Each system responded in unpredictable but functional ways. By the end of the day, the ship moved under Mercer's control, gliding silently in the void as if it had been waiting for a human touch all along. Yet, for all the success, a shadow loomed. Mercer scanned the deep space sensors. Faint energy signatures blinked on the edge of the star system. Ships, Dominion ships, fast, deadly, precise. They had noticed the derelict's activity. Mercer's mind worked like a storm. "They'll think it's scrap," he muttered, "but scrap with a human pilot is a whole different story." Vega placed a hand on his shoulder. "And we're the story they'll never forget," Mercer nodded. "Exactly. Get ready. The impossible isn't over yet, it's just beginning." He initiated a full system check. Alien AI routines integrated with human tactical algorithms. Shields hummed in rhythm with the ship's engines. Weapons lined up ready. Energy levels spiked, more than anyone had expected. A faint alert blinked on the main display. A Dominion fleet was closing in fast. Mercer's heart didn't race. He felt alive. Every human who ever faced impossible odds knew that moment, the one where fear and excitement collided. Mercer whispered to himself, "The galaxy underestimates humans, and that is their first mistake." He moved to the command chair, activating the ship fully. It responded instantly, bending alien logic to human ingenuity. A pulse ran through the hull, a gentle vibration like a heartbeat syncing with Mercer's own. The impossible was happening. The salvage team watched in awe and fear. What had been called scrap was no longer junk. It was alive. It was dangerous. And it was under human command. Mercer's eyes flicked to the sensors again. The Dominion fleet glinted against the darkness of space. He smiled. "Let us show them what humans can do." And with that, the derelict ship, ancient, abandoned, and once dismissed as useless, moved forward. Not as scrap, not as relic, but as a testament to human creativity and daring. The impossible had begun. The derelict ship, once called scrap, now glided silently through the void under Mercer's control. Its hull gleamed faintly, a strange rhythm pulsing through its energy conduits. Mercer sat in the command chair, hands dancing across alien controls, blending human intuition with technology the Dominion had abandoned. He had awakened a sleeping giant, and the galaxy had begun to notice. On the edge of the Andromeda sector, Dominion sensors flickered. Admiral Kryler, a veteran of centuries of conquest, frowned as his fleet picked up the unusual energy signature. It wasn't like anything they had catalogued. "What is that?" Kryler barked, his voice cold and sharp. His bridge officers shuffled nervously. "It's a derelict ship, sir. Old Dominion class abandoned centuries ago," one officer replied. "But the power readings, they're active." Kryler's eyes narrowed. "Impossible. Scrap doesn't move. Scrap doesn't awaken. Bring all ships to full alert. Identify the pilot." The Dominion fleet surged forward, warships sliding through space like predators closing on prey. Their confidence was absolute. Humans had no business controlling a ship of Dominion design. They would eliminate it quickly as one eliminates a pest, But Mercer was ready. Sensors alerted him to the fleet's approach. He had anticipated this. "Vega," he said, his voice calm yet sharp. "They're coming. They think it's scrap. Let's make them regret that assumption." Vega grinned despite the tension. "Always do, sir." Mercer's fingers flew across the console. He activated the ship's shields, rerouted power to its engines, and began a careful calibration of its weapons systems. The alien ship, once silent and lifeless, responded instantly as if it recognized human command. The Dominion fleet opened fire first. Energy beams lanced across the void, striking the derelict's shields with explosive force. Sparks flew along the hull. Panels cracked. Alarms blared, but the ship didn't falter. Mercer tilted the ship, using the alien propulsion systems in ways the Dominion engineers had never imagined. The shields rippled, bending energy attacks harmlessly around the hull. He activated the weapons systems. Pulse disruptors, energy cannons, and self-guided drones powered up. The derelict was no longer scrap. It was a predator. A Dominion destroyer fired a concentrated energy blast, aiming for the ship's core. Mercer anticipated the trajectory, rerouting power to the alien shields and sending a pulse of energy back. The destroyer's hull buckled under the feedback, forcing it to retreat. The fleet hesitated. What was this? A human commanding an abandoned Dominion ship, turning their own technology against them. They had never encountered anything like it. Kryler's eyes blazed with fury. "Target the human. Do not underestimate it. All firepower focus on that vessel." Mercer smirked. "Focus all firepower. Perfect." He tapped a sequence on the alien console. The ship responded with astonishing speed. Weapon systems activated, not in predictable patterns but in unpredictable arcs and bursts. Energy pulses ricocheted across space, striking Dominion vessels in unorthodox ways. One cruiser's engines exploded. Another's hull was torn apart by a repurposed drone. The Dominion fleet faltered. Humans were supposed to be weak, slow, predictable. But this human Mercer was neither. Vega looked over his shoulder, awe in her eyes. "How are you doing this?" Mercer chuckled. "I'm using my head, Vega. That's the difference." As the battle intensified, Mercer realized he couldn't fight the fleet head-on. The numbers were too great. He needed strategy, misdirection, and creativity. He activated the ship's cloaking system, something even the Dominion hadn't perfected in this model. The derelict shimmered, invisible to enemy sensors. From the shadows, Mercer began a counterattack. He fired energy pulses at key systems on Dominion vessels, communications, engines, weapon arrays, each strike calculated to cripple without destroying. Confusion spread across the Dominion fleet. Ships collided, fired at each other by mistake, or drifted helplessly as their systems failed. Kryler roared in frustration. "Impossible! Scrap should not, it cannot. Humans cannot control Dominion technology like this," Mercer grinned. "Humans do the impossible all the time." The Dominion fleet adjusted tactics, attempting coordinated maneuvers to trap the derelict. But Mercer had already anticipated their strategies. Using alien AI fragments, he integrated Dominion algorithms with human intuition. The ship moved unpredictably, dodging every attack, striking where the enemy was weakest. One by one, the Dominion vessels fell back. Damage reports flooded Kryler's bridge. Losses were minimal compared to the derelict's capabilities, but morale was shattered. Humans, they realized, were not to be underestimated. Mercer seized the advantage. He fired a concentrated energy pulse at the fleet's lead cruiser. The ship's shields buckled, hull ruptured, and the vessel spun out of control. The remaining fleet pulled back, unsure of how to proceed. Vega looked at Mercer wide-eyed. They're retreating." Mercer's smile was calm, almost serene. "For now, they'll be back, and when they do, they'll remember this day." The derelict moved silently through the void, leaving behind a fleet that had underestimated humans. Mercer accessed the ship's logs, studying alien protocols. Every system responded to human creativity, bending alien logic in ways no Dominion engineer had ever imagined. Hours later, as the derelict drifted into a quiet sector of space, Mercer allowed himself a moment to breathe. Vega joined him in the observation deck, staring out at the stars. "You did it," she said softly. "You actually did it." Mercer shook his head. "We did it. Humans always do better when no one believes in us." Vega smiled. "Do you think they'll come back?" Mercer's eyes gleamed with determination. "Of course they will, but when they do, they'll find that humans aren't just survivors. We're creators, innovators. And right now, we have something they've never seen before, a human commanding what they called scrap." In the distance, the Dominion fleet regrouped. Alerts buzzed across their consoles. Admiral Kryler's voice was filled with barely controlled anger. "We will not lose to humans. That vessel, it is not scrap. It is a threat. Prepare the supercarrier. If we must, we will destroy the sector to stop it." Mercer didn't hear their threats. He was already thinking ahead. The derelict had potential beyond anyone's imagination. With the right tweaks, it could outmaneuver, outthink, and outfight any Dominion fleet. He activated a series of subroutines, combining alien AI fragments with human tactical patterns. Shields were reinforced, engines optimized, weapons recalibrated. The ship hummed with life, responsive to every command, adaptive to every threat. "This is only the beginning," Mercer whispered, his eyes locked on the stars. "The Dominion thinks they understand the universe. They don't understand humans. They never have." Vega placed a hand on his shoulder. "What now?" Mercer looked at the glowing console, the ship's systems alive beneath his fingertips. "Now we prepare. They'll come again. And next time, we make the impossible look easy." For the first time in centuries, the Dominion had faced something they could not predict, could not control, and could not destroy easily. A single human had turned abandoned alien technology into a weapon of ingenuity and terror. Across the galaxy, the word would spread. Humans, clever and bold, were no longer to be underestimated. And in the silence of space, the derelict pulsed with life, carrying a message for the Dominion and every other species in the sector. Humans do not follow rules, they create them. Mercer leaned back in his chair, hands resting lightly on the console. The derelict, the so-called scrap, had become a testament to human ingenuity, and in the darkness of the void, a human mind had rewritten the rules of engagement. He allowed himself a brief smile. The Dominion had seen the future, whether they knew it or not, and it bore the unmistakable signature of humanity. The galaxy, it seemed, was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The derelict, once called scrap, drifted through the nebula cluster. The stars around it shimmered through clouds of gas and dust, painting the void in shades of purple and green. Mercer sat in the command chair, eyes fixed on the holographic display. The Dominion supercarrier was closing in. Unlike the earlier fleet, this was not an ordinary warship. It was a massive, heavily armored vessel bristling with experimental weapons. Its arrival meant one thing: the Dominion had escalated, and the humans were now outnumbered and outgunned. Vega hovered behind him, tension written on her face. "It's huge," she said softly. "We can't take it head-on." Mercer didn't flinch. "That's why we won't. Humans don't fight the way they expect. We adapt." The derelict pulsed with life as Mercer accessed the ship's AI fragments. These remnants of alien programming were unpredictable, but when combined with human intuition, they became a weapon no Dominion engineer could calculate. He fed the AI commands carefully, allowing the ship to move in patterns that no computer could predict, bending alien technology with human creativity. From the distance, the supercarrier opened fire. Energy beams, massive and precise, tore through the nebula clouds. The derelict shuddered, shields flaring as the blast struck. Sparks flew across the hull. Some panels cracked, but the ship remained intact. Mercer leaned forward, calm and focused. "They think brute force will work," he muttered. "Let's prove them wrong." Mercer activated the ship's cloaking system. The derelict shimmered, becoming nearly invisible against the nebula. Sensors were scrambled, and Dominion targeting systems began to falter. But Mercer knew the supercarrier's weapons were adaptive. One mistake, one miscalculation, and the ship would be destroyed. He turned to Vega. "I need you to monitor their fleet communications. Any pattern, any command, I want it." Vega's fingers flew across her console. "They're trying to coordinate with their drones, but the signals are fragmented. They don't know where we are." "Good," Mercer said. "Let's make sure it stays that way." With a tap on the console, the derelict's drones activated. These small, self-guided units were relics of Dominion engineering, repurposed by Mercer. They swarmed into the nebula, invisible and silent. Some targeted the supercarrier's shield generators, while others created false energy signatures, confusing the fleet. The supercarrier fired again, massive energy arcs tearing through the nebula. Mercer tilted the derelict, using alien propulsion in ways the Dominion had never intended. Energy beams glanced off shields, missing entirely, while drones struck key systems with surgical precision. One cruiser's engines failed catastrophically. Another's weapons systems overloaded and shut down. Vega gasped. "It's working, we're actually doing this." Mercer didn't celebrate. There was no time. The supercarrier was still out there, and it was learning. Mercer knew it would adapt faster than anything the previous fleet had. He needed a new plan, something bold, something the Dominion could never predict. He accessed the alien AI fragments once more. This time, he integrated them directly with his tactical algorithms. The ship pulsed with energy as if alive, moving and thinking in ways no human or alien could fully understand. "Engage the variable core," he whispered. The variable core, a part of the ship the Dominion had abandoned, was unpredictable. It could manipulate energy, redirect power, and even warp space slightly around the ship. Mercer had spent weeks figuring out how to control it. Now, it was time to test it. A massive beam of energy shot from the core, cutting through the nebula. The supercarrier's shields flickered, unable to compensate for the sudden, chaotic attack. The derelict moved in a pattern so fast, so unpredictable, that the supercarrier couldn't target it accurately. Every shot missed, every maneuver was countered. The Dominion fleet's confidence faltered. Admiral Kryler's voice was sharp over the comms. "This is impossible. How can a single human control their ship like this?" Mercer smiled. "Humans make the impossible look easy." The supercarrier fired a new weapon, a massive particle cannon designed to obliterate ships with one shot. Mercer anticipated the trajectory. He activated the variable core again, redirecting energy through the ship's shields and creating a temporary gravity well. The cannon's beam curved unexpectedly, striking one of its own cruisers and tearing a massive hole in its hull. Vega's jaw dropped. They hit their own ship." Mercer's focus never wavered. "Creativity wins wars, Vega. They rely on rules. Humans make rules." The derelict moved closer to the supercarrier, dodging each attack with precision. Mercer calculated every possibility, integrating alien AI predictions with human intuition. For every strategy the Dominion tried, he had a counter. For every weapon, he had a response. Then came the critical moment. The supercarrier had opened its core defenses to charge a final, devastating weapon. Mercer knew he had one chance. He diverted all power to the variable core, creating a pulse that would destabilize the supercarrier's energy field. "Hold on," he said. The derelict moved in a precise arc, weaving through the nebula's energy storms. Lightning-like currents danced around the ship, amplifying the core's pulse. The supercarrier's shields flared, overloaded, and the energy field collapsed inward. The core ruptured in a brilliant explosion. A shockwave rippled through space, knocking other Dominion ships off course. The supercarrier's hull tore apart, sending debris spinning in every direction. The derelict emerged unscathed, shields glowing faintly, engines humming with life. Vega stared in awe. We did it. We actually did it." Mercer allowed himself a small smile. "We survived, but the fight isn't over. They'll regroup. They always do." The Dominion fleet pulled back, battered and confused. Their losses were significant and their morale shattered. For the first time, they had faced a human not just surviving, but dominating with ingenuity. Mercer knew they would return with more forces, more strategies, and more experimental weapons. But he was ready. The derelict, once called scrap, had proven its worth, and more importantly, it had proven that humans, when underestimated, could achieve the impossible. As the derelict drifted through the nebula, Mercer accessed the ship's logs. Alien AI fragments hummed in response, integrating new data from the battle. Every system had adapted, evolved, and learned. The ship was no longer just an abandoned relic. It was a living, thinking vessel under human command, a testament to ingenuity and adaptability. Vega approached Mercer. "Do you think they'll come back?" Mercer's eyes gleamed with determination. "Of course they will. But next time, they'll find humans are even more unpredictable than today. We've only just begun." The stars outside the observation deck twinkled like distant eyes watching the unfolding drama. The galaxy would remember this day, not because humans had powerful ships, but because humans had minds capable of turning scrap into legend. Mercer activated long-range sensors. Reports came in from nearby systems. Dominion outposts were sending signals, coordinating fleets preparing for retaliation. The stakes had never been higher. He leaned back in the command chair, hands resting lightly on the console. The derelict pulsed with life beneath him, ready for whatever challenge came next. Vega placed a hand on his shoulder. "You really think we can survive another attack?" Mercer smiled faintly. "We won today with nothing but brains and courage. Tomorrow we'll do it again. Humans don't give up. Humans don't follow rules. Humans make the impossible happen." In the darkness of space, the derelict pulsed with energy. The Dominion had seen the future, and it carried a human signature. One mind, one ship, and the determination to defy expectation. The galaxy was watching. The Dominion was learning. And Mercer was preparing for the fight that would change everything. For the first time, humans had become a variable the Dominion could not calculate, could not predict, and could not defeat easily. One human, commanding what had been abandoned, had turned the impossible into reality. The nebula swirled around the derelict, hiding it from the eyes of the Dominion. But Mercer knew that sooner or later they would come again. And when they did, the humans would be ready. Not with numbers, not with raw power, but with creativity, courage, and the brilliance to turn scrap into legend. The impossible, it seemed, was now human territory. The derelict ship, once called scrap, now glided silently through the edge of Dominion space. Its hull glimmered faintly in the void, energy pulsing like a heartbeat. Mercer sat in the command chair, hands resting lightly on the alien console, yet every nerve was alert. The galaxy had changed. One human mind had turned abandoned alien technology into a weapon, a symbol, and a challenge no civilization could ignore. Vega joined him at the observation deck, eyes wide as the stars stretched endlessly ahead. "Do you realize what we've done?" she asked. "The Dominion, they're scared of us." Mercer smiled faintly. "Not scared, respecting, or terrified, it doesn't matter which. Humans don't need their approval. We need results." Reports from nearby systems flashed on the holographic displays. Dominion outposts were in chaos. Their fleets, once confident and commanding, had been shattered or neutralized. Communications were failing, orders ignored, and panic spread through the ranks. Human ingenuity had not only survived the impossible, it had rewritten the rules of engagement. Mercer activated the derelict's AI integration protocols. The alien fragments hummed in response, learning, adapting, and evolving. Every system, from propulsion to shields to weapons, became more efficient with each passing moment. The derelict was no longer a ship. It was a living instrument of strategy, a perfect blend of alien power and human creativity. Vega studied the maps. "Sir, what now? Do we strike again?" Mercer's eyes gleamed. "Not yet. First, we prepare. They'll regroup, they'll bring more forces, but the advantage is ours. We've shown them what humans can do with intelligence, courage, and a little creativity. Now it's time to take the next step." The derelict glided to a hidden sector of space, where human engineers had secretly gathered alien technology salvaged from other wrecks. Mercer coordinated with them, sharing knowledge extracted from the derelict's AI. Humans worked quickly, repurposing alien power cores, weapons, and propulsion systems. Every ship built, every system repaired, every strategy considered carried one human principle: adapt, innovate, survive, and dominate if necessary. Weeks passed. The Dominion rebuilt their fleets, determined to destroy the human threat. But humans had learned, evolved, and prepared. The derelict became the command center for a new generation of human warships, smaller, faster, and unpredictable, each capable of surviving and winning against overwhelming odds. Mercer stood before a holographic projection of the Dominion sector. Red blips represented the enemy fleets, green and blue ones were human ships. The Dominion had numbers, but humans had intelligence, adaptability, and unpredictability. "Ready for Phase 2? Vega asked, her voice a mix of excitement and tension. Mercer nodded. "Let us show them what humans can do when underestimated. It's time they learn the true cost of arrogance." The first strike was precise. Human ships emerged from the shadows of nebulae, hitting Dominion supply lines, communication hubs, and weapon depots. Each attack was calculated, minimal in force yet maximum in effect. The Dominion was caught off guard. Systems failed before fleets even realized they were under attack. Kryler's voice trembled over the Dominion comms. How are they doing this? One human ship, hundreds of humans, impossible." Mercer's lips curved into a smile. "Humans make the impossible happen, Admiral." The derelict led the attack, weaving through enemy formations, dodging fire, and striking with precision. Every movement was unpredictable, a human mind guiding alien technology beyond its original design. The Dominion learned a harsh lesson. Brute force alone could not defeat ingenuity. In the heart of Dominion space, Mercer targeted a major outpost, a weapons hub capable of producing experimental ships. The derelict moved like a phantom, infiltrating defenses that had seemed impenetrable. Shields flared, energy beams arced, but the ship adapted instantly, turning the enemy's own systems against them. Vega monitored the systems. "Sir, they're trying to seal the core." "It's going to explode." Mercer's eyes narrowed. "Let's make sure it does in our way." He rerouted energy from the variable core into the outpost's energy matrix, destabilizing it. Alarms screamed, lights flickered, and the core began to rupture. With a final pulse, the hub exploded, sending debris and shockwaves across the sector. Dominion ships scattered in panic. The galaxy was watching. Across multiple star systems, whispers spread of humans who could take scrap, abandoned ships and technology no one else could use, and turn it into power that no one could predict or control. Mercer didn't stop. The derelict moved from system to system, coordinating attacks, rescuing human colonies, and sabotaging Dominion operations. Each maneuver displayed the essence of human ingenuity. Not the biggest fleet, not the most advanced weapons, but the smartest strategies, combined with courage and adaptability. Vega leaned over the console, awestruck. "Sir, we're changing the galaxy." Mercer's gaze remained on the stars. "No, Vega, humans are showing the galaxy what it has always underestimated: That's different. And the Dominion, they'll never forget it. Back in Dominion Command, Kryler's frustration boiled over. His fleets were scattered, systems failing, and morale plummeting. He realized that humans were not just a threat, they were a force that could not be controlled, predicted, or ignored. Every strategy he had relied on, every advantage the Dominion believed they held, had been shattered. Meanwhile, Mercer turned his attention to the larger strategy. The derelict was not just a weapon, it was a beacon, a symbol of human ingenuity. Across the galaxy, humans coordinated, communicated, and adapted. Colonies that had once felt isolated now operated as one intelligent, responsive network. Every ship, every outpost, every mind became a part of a larger human strategy. The Dominion fleet attempted one last counterattack, amassing overwhelming numbers in a desperate bid to destroy the derelict and human forces. But Mercer had anticipated this. Using the derelict's advanced AI integration, humans coordinated strikes that divided, confused, and incapacitated the Dominion fleets. Ships collided, weapons misfired, and the Dominion's own technology became a tool for their defeat. Kryler's voice was barely audible over the comms. "Impossible, no humans, how?" Mercer leaned back, hands resting lightly on the console. "Humans do the impossible, Admiral. That's how." The battle ended in decisive human victory. Dominion fleets were crippled, systems abandoned, and colonies liberated. The galaxy had witnessed a single human mind turning abandoned alien technology into a force that no empire could predict or control. Mercer looked out into the void, the derelict pulsing with life beneath him. "This is only the beginning," he said softly. "The galaxy will learn that humans are not just survivors. We are creators, innovators, and when underestimated, we are unstoppable." Vega placed a hand on his shoulder. "Do you think the Dominion will ever stop us?" Mercer smiled faintly. "No, but that's not their concern. Our concern is showing the galaxy what humans can do when no one believes in them. That's our gift and our power." The stars beyond the observation deck twinkled as if in acknowledgement. Across light years of space, the ripple of human ingenuity spread. One derelict ship, once called Scrap, had rewritten the rules. One human mind had shown the galaxy that intelligence, creativity, and courage could surpass numbers, weapons, and centuries of technological advantage. The derelict pulsed with life, energy flowing through alien systems guided by human intellect. It was no longer a forgotten relic, it was a legend in motion. And across the galaxy, humans would be remembered not for following rules, not for relying on raw strength, but for doing the impossible. Mercer gazed into the stars, knowing that the Dominion and every other civilization would remember this day, not as a defeat but as a lesson. Humans, underestimated and dismissed, had rewritten the rules of the galaxy, and this was only the beginning. In the silence of space, the derelict moved forward, carrying the future of humanity, a future defined by courage, creativity, and the refusal to accept limits. The galaxy had seen what one human could do. Now it would see what an entire species, united by ingenuity and determination, could achieve. And somewhere in the distance, the Dominion fleets trembled at the realization. Humans were no longer prey. Humans were the hunters. The impossible was human.